Hello there, and welcome back to the Hoarders Delight TryHard server with me, Tryonus. Today's episode, a little bit of a heads up, will be more of a catch-up slash my ideas and plans episode rather than doing anything. If we've got time to do stuff, I may do some, but to be quite honest, it's just going to be a bit of a chatty episode with you and get your thoughts and suggestions in as well, which are always welcome. So let us begin. So you may have quickly glanced this little setup here that I did. This is a way I can't fly because I need my helmet on. Good start. This is a way of getting resources in this pack. If you remember this setup, to make the clay I needed dust, but obviously because I've moved my bricks, because you saw that I started that big build, well, semi-big build outside in the last episode. I hope you enjoyed that fast build episode, by the way. I hope it wasn't too blurry or anything. But anyway, like I say, this normally makes the clay, but I've got this excess dust, so I rerouted it to oh, that shouldn't actually be connected there. Let me just disable that. Rerouted the dust into the automatic sieve, which was powered by a magma dynamo, because obviously I had this lava system here. I did make another one just to keep up with it, but it outputs enough RF to do that. I did make one of them, but they're the lava generators from extra utilities, but they're not really that good. I don't know why I made it in the first place. These magma dynamos are so much better. But anyway, this was processing the dust. It's actually finished now because this chest is very nearly full. As you can see, it's got a load of Xersos powdered copper and gold and iron and whatnot. I still need to process this into a system, because 4 of them will make the dust blocks, and then the dust blocks need to go into a pulverizer to be made into the dust, which then can be cooked up into the ignits that they want. So yeah, quite a bit of resources there already. I had the bone meal, blaze powder, redstone, glowstone dust and gunpowder, which you get from the dust, rerouted into caches because the chests couldn't handle it. But yeah, it's been working nicely. As you can see, I've got plenty of resources in. The only thing I'm lacking really are diamonds and emeralds, which you get from doing the gravel, not the dust. But that's what the ore processing plant is all about, sorting all this lot out. Only other thing I did inside here was increase my lava generation here, and added some extra magma dynamos just for the inside of the base, but I don't really need this at the moment because I'm not using any of the power now. I did make a fluid transponder and a magma crucible, and I'll come back to why I needed these. Other than that, I just altered one of the wheat fields to grow potatoes, just for reasons, really. And that's it basically for down here. The majority of my work has been outside. Let me just get outside and sleep the night away. We don't get disturbed. There we go. You may have noticed in the video that I had wedges and slopes. See, what did I say about getting disturbed? Forward. But that's because I made these and I extended this, because this was just making the carpenter blocks. I actually made this one to make the carpenter wedge slopes, and this one here to actually make the carpenter barriers to go into that build. So yeah, that's something else I did. Right, and then there is the main build that I did. Half in it on camera, the rest, because it's exactly the same, I did off camera. And that's about as tall as it's going to get. Like I say, it's not a huge build, it's fairly small. It is just basically a box which I try to round off the edges with the carpenter slopes on the sides here, and it's turned out fairly well. It's very basic build, very easy to do. On the top here, these are carpenter barriers which have got concrete on them, and I've missed one here, which is fine because I can show you, because you may have noticed on that video I was actually altering how the carpenter blocks look from one another, and you can just do that by right clicking on them and they will change their patterns, and you can change how they look quite easily. I went through about 3 hammers in total. I don't know why they ever decided to put durability on a carpenter hammer, but they did. So yeah, this is the build in all its total at the moment. I haven't put any extra windows or anything on the back or the sides because I still want to sort things out like this down here, and I'll come back to this very, very soon. So this is another tree farm, as you can quite easily see. But big tree farm, this one, as you can see. Down here you can see the all the blocks I basically used to build this. The carpenter barriers, the stone for the roof, bricks, the concrete, and a few extra bits and pieces that I needed for the other stuff that I've been doing. I still need to do some work on the roof. As you can see, it's just a plain background. So, but that'll come in time, I think. I've got a few ideas for like chimneys and fans and stuff like that. But we'll go into the main door. This is a carpenter's door, by the way, which you can basically put on any block that you want. I chose to put iron blocks on these to make this like really hard metal door frame. It worked for most of them. I don't know why this one's odd though, because it's all the same. So yeah. Anyway, if we go through here, it's nice and empty. I think this side will be my storage. Like I said, I want to try and use those storage drawers rather than the caches. I think just to do something a little bit different for me. I know a lot of other people use them, but I've never used them personally. I normally just use the caches, and I just want to see if they're any better. I don't know. People rave about them, so I thought I'd try them. Although I've still got to do a little bit of research. Let me just get rid of that waypoint. I found this zombie dungeon, and that's what that indicates basically. Nothing too important. This side is my power room, and I'll come to all the slot in a minute or two, so just bear with me. Upstairs will be where the processing takes place. We've got really a lot of room here for the processing, and I've got some ideas for this, and I will come back to that in a second. I want to go back downstairs to that power room, if you're okay. So the power room isn't exactly what it looks like. It's something very different for me to use. I've never used this before, but I was having a look through the power systems and what we could actually use. I did think about just using magma dynamos and lava system like I have done in the main base, but then I kind of remembered the lag fest it causes, especially with all the blocks turning into lava and a lot of block updates. So I mean, this is kind of bad enough, but it's not too bad for me. Hopefully anyone else visiting won't have the same effect. But this is just a normal tree farm here. We've got some iron upgrades to increase the radius of the tree farm by 3, so you get much larger one. You need 2 of these upgrades, 1 in the harvester, 1 in the planter, then you can do that. I then have it connected to another cache which grabs any excess wood. The wood though is processed into charcoal. I've got a alloy smelter here because this does 3 at a time. I've also got a redstone, 2 redstone furnaces, if you can hear me over that, processing 1 at a time, but these are a little bit faster than that. I don't know. Let me just turn my sounds off for a minute. Oh dear, that's better. Sorry, I don't know if you could actually hear me over that. These are steam dynamos, which are being fed water from inside and the charcoal, and they are producing about 80 RF per tick. And it's a nice, easy way to get power. And these are all powering the harvester and the planter and these machines here. Okay, so they get fed the charcoal and the water from inside. The charcoal is also going into this cache here, which I've now got 156 stacks of charcoal, which is actually nice to see. So I'm getting a nice supply, so we'll just fly through this window. So I've got a water drum here, which is being fed by the normal transfer nodes down there to get water. The charcoal is being produced here and then being put into these steam boilers here, which are constantly at a temperature of 750 degrees C, and is basically getting water and turning it into steam. I've got 3 of these guys. The steam is being pumped into this steam drum, and the steam from there is getting extracted out into these steam turbines, which are from Mine Factory Reloaded. Fairly expensive, these things. So if I just put steam up, to make the steam boiler, you need reinforced portable tanks, plastic sheets, the sludge boiler, and nether bricks. And I've got 3 of these guys. To make the steam boiler, you need that little lot there: iron gears, redstone reception coils, basic machine frame, plastic sheets, buckets, and furnaces. To make the steam turbine, you need steam dynamos, silver gears, redstone transmission coils, pistons. So yeah, so I've got 3 of the steam boilers and 15 of the steam turbines, which are currently being fed into this little capacitor bank here. As you can see, I'm using thermal expansion pipes to actually get the process done a little bit quicker for the most part, because the water seems to be running a lot faster in this hardened fluid duct, and these power things, the redstone flux, which is what I needed the magma crucible and the fluid transposer for, hold a lot more and transfer a lot more power than what the Ender IO stuff does at the moment. Anyway, so this setup, these steam turbines, you might be wondering how much power they actually produce. Now, doing a little bit of research and things like that, I believe they produce something like 160 RF per tick each. Now that doesn't sound a lot compared to what you get with like big reactors, advanced turbines, big reactors, sorry, and other big power systems, but we don't have those in this pack. So that's why we're doing a lot of things. There we are, power output 160 RF per tick, there we are. Produces RF only. The only other thing that I know in this pack that comes close to that is in Ender IO, and that is the combustion generator, but then you need that. You need at least to get up to rocket fuel, which then you need that, which I think they're going to produce something like 140 RF per tick if I remember rightly. And you need redstone and gunpowder for that, and you also need hooch, and hooch is, you need sugar and one of these items that's displaying here. Best one is potatoes, and you need water to make that. So you need at least 2 different vats producing the rocket fuel, and then you're still only producing 140, whereas this may be a little bit more expensive route, but you've got a lot less and you're gaining a lot more, to my mind. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you've got any other ideas, if you've got any other suggestions, feel free to let me know. Anyway, time's going on, so let me just quickly run through my plan. Basically, if I wanted to, I could set up systems very similar to that down there. Have it all small, compact, very easy to use, very efficient. I don't want that. Not this turn. I want to make things as a proper factory sort of thing. So what I'm thinking about doing is putting a stone creator thing somewhere over here, making it look like it's coming out of a mine sort of thing, and then traveling along conveyor belts from the only conveyor belts that we've got is these from Mine Factory Reloaded. It's going to be a lot of Mine Factory Reloaded. It's actually a mod that I've never really played with apart from the harvesters and the planters. So I'm going to use these conveyor belts. So basically the stone extractor will come along the conveyor belts down and into the processing plant, and I will need to use some pipes at some stage. There's no avoiding it, because obviously I'm going to need like a chest or something here for the stone to get into, and then it's going to have to get piped up and into the top of the factory here. But then in the factory, when it comes out, will then get put into pulverizers, and I'm thinking about maybe 6, 3 pulverizers to turn it into gravel, and then the gravel gets processed into its stuff into the safe, and then another 3 which will lead into another 3 pulverizers, so 6, 7, 8, that's about 9 pulverizers in total, give or take. That will turn it into dust, and then it will go along another conveyor belt into the sieve. Then the sieve stuff will come round and go into the what they call the what they're called. I can't remember what they're called at the moment. Bear with me 1 second. The auto packages here. Which will then get turned into their normal block dusts, and then the dust will get pushed out into another conveyor belt, into another pulverizer to get pushed into the dust, and then the dust will get put into the furnaces to actually do that. I may need to have some chests and things on the way just to make sure that there's no blockages sort of thing, so it's all nice and convenient, but because I don't want things just dropping everywhere, because I don't know how things work like this. So like I say, it will be like a proper factory sort of system, hence why I wanted all that power system. So though I am thinking about maybe doing it the opposite way, because obviously if the storage is going to be underneath here, then from once the furnaces are done, they will have to be taken downstairs and put into the storage drawers. I hope that makes sense. It kind of doesn't to me. Oh yeah, you may have noticed these chandeliers from Extra Utilities. These are to stop the mobs from spawning in and around the base. That's why I can leave this completely black, because nothing will spawn up there. So like I say, I hope that makes sense. I hope that you've enjoyed this video, because it's just been more of an explanation video, and I haven't bored you too much. Like I say, it's hard to explain because I'm getting my head around it still and trying to sort it out. Because like I say, normally I would just use pipes and conduits and stuff like that, and it'd be done. So now I'm just trying to make it a little bit more complicated for myself. I do kind of wish we had immersive engineering in this, because the conveyor belts there are a little bit better, but I will use what we've got. I can't do that. If I wanted to use that, I would do it on another pack. So yeah, a bit of a modern, more factory conveyor belt system. Like I say, I will need to use pipes and ducts and whatever. There's no avoiding it. But yeah, I think I will end this episode here. because I dare say I've bored you already or confused you already. But if you did make it this far and you did enjoy the video, please remember to hit that like button. And if you've got any comments, suggestions or ideas that you want to put in, feel free to put it in the comment section below. Even if it's just to say hi, feel free to do that as well. But otherwise, thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.